Portia Woodman, born on July 12, 1991, in Kawakawa, New Zealand, is one of the greatest rugby players of all time, a name that has become synonymous with dominance, speed, flair, and the unmatched excellence of New Zealand women's rugby, especially in the sevens format, where she has established herself as an icon of the sport. And her story is not only about her extraordinary athletic ability, but also about resilience, cultural pride, family legacy, and an unwavering determination to push through adversity. Because Portia's journey to the top of world rugby was never straightforward, yet she has risen time and time again to prove that she is not just one of the best in her generation, but one of the greatest the sport has ever seen. Growing up in the small town of Kawakawa, Portia came from a strong sporting background, with rugby being deeply embedded in her family. Her father, Portia Woodman, represented North Auckland, and her uncle Fred Woodman was an All Black, so the game was in her blood from the very beginning. And from a young age she showed athletic talent, excelling in netball, track, and field before eventually turning to rugby, where her speed, strength, and natural instincts set her apart. Before fully committing to rugby, Woodman pursued netball at a high level, even playing in New Zealand's National Netball League, and this background contributed to the agility, quick feet, and spatial awareness that would later define her rugby career. But it wasn't until she transitioned to rugby in 2012 that the world truly began to see the potential of her athletic gifts. When she was invited to join the New Zealand Women's Sevens program, which was being developed in preparation for the sport's inclusion in the Olympic Games, and almost instantly she made an impact, becoming a prolific try-scorer whose blistering pace and finishing ability set her apart, and soon she was recognized as not only the best in her team but one of the most feared players in the world. By 2013, she had already announced herself on the world stage at the Rugby World Cup Sevens in Moscow, helping New Zealand secure the title, and from there her career skyrocketed, as she became a central figure in the Black Fern Sevens dominance on the HSBC World Rugby 7 Series, scoring tries at an unmatched rate and dazzling fans with her ability to turn matches on their head with a single moment of brilliance. The peak of her stardom came with the Olympic Games, where women's rugby sevens made its debut in Rio de Janeiro in 2016, and Portia entered the tournament as one of the faces of the sport, delivering breathtaking performances throughout the competition. Though heartbreakingly New Zealand fell short in the final, losing to Australia and settling for a silver medal. But even in defeat, Woodman's brilliance shone through, and she became a global ambassador for women's rugby, inspiring a generation of young girls to pick up the ball and dream of representing their country on the biggest stage. That disappointment only fueled her further, and over the next few years she continued to dominate the Sevens circuit, winning multiple World Series titles and establishing herself as the leading try-scorer in women's rugby sevens history, often compared to legends of the men's game like Jonah Lomu for the way she combined speed, power, and charisma to transcend the sport and capture the imagination of fans worldwide. In 2017, Portia had one of the most extraordinary seasons of her career, highlighted by her performances at the Women's Rugby World Cup in Ireland, where she transitioned from sevens to 15s and proved her versatility by dominating in the 15A-side game as well, scoring 13 tries in the tournament and leading the Black Ferns to a World Cup victory, while also being named World Rugby Women's Player of the Year, a recognition that confirmed her status as the best female rugby player in the world. And what made it even more remarkable was that she excelled in both formats simultaneously, something few players in history have ever managed to do at such a high level. However, greatness is often accompanied by challenges, and for Portia those challenges came in the form of injuries, most notably in 2018 when she tore her Achilles tendon, an injury that sidelined her for over a year and threatened to derail her career. But true to her resilient spirit, she committed herself to the recovery process, endured the physical and mental toll, and eventually returned stronger than ever, proving to herself and the world that no setback could define her. Her comeback was timed perfectly for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, which, though delayed to 2021 due to the global pandemic, became one of the most emotional and triumphant moments of her career, as the Black Fern Sevens entered the Games with determination to redeem themselves after the heartbreak of Rio, and with Portia leading from the front, they stormed through the competition, defeating France in the final to win the gold medal, with Woodman's contributions, leadership, and relentless drive proving crucial. and the images of her and her teammates celebrating that gold medal became iconic, symbolizing not only their success but also the growth and recognition of women's rugby on the global stage. Beyond her medals and records, Portia Woodman has been a cultural icon, representing her Maori heritage with pride and inspiring Indigenous athletes